really excited to share this resource. Again, it's not to scare anyone, like, hey, get your resumes ready because we could be losing our job, but it is to give you guys a true and honest approach at what we could be facing, and we need to be prepared. So this is an optimistic approach. It's definitely going to save you some time when approaching the new job market. And again, we've all heard about RIFs, so we just want to make sure that we are prepared. We have our resumes updated, and they are at the top level in terms of information and marketability to the private sector if and when we begin searching for jobs. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to jump in. We encourage you guys to sign up for this service as soon as possible. Again, this is something that we're providing to our members for the first 30 days. That's ample time to get you guys started, up and running, get your feet wet, get some job applications out and going. So we just want to say thank you guys for your support, your ongoing contributions in terms of membership dues. And this is one way that we can offer an additional benefit to our members. So we're the first group utilizing this system. So if you have any hiccups or questions, or you have an idea to how to improve this software, please reach out to me or Brad, as we will be making the changes to make it better for our group, and then eventually share it with the larger either national or other AFGE unions or locals.
Thank you all for joining this afternoon. Appreciate you sharing part of your day with me. As Desiree said, my name is Brad Boggs. I'm the founder of Jobflow, which is a software platform we developed to combine the power of artificial intelligence with deep hiring insights I've learned through my career in the HR tech field to optimize and tailor your application, your resume, your cover letter for every job that you apply to within just a few seconds. I've spent the last 20 years of my career, as I said, in HR tech, working in the job board space, working with talent acquisition and recruitment teams at employers of all sizes, federal agencies, startups, Fortune 500 companies. One of the big things that I've learned is there's a really large disconnect between what employers are looking for from applicants at the time they apply to jobs, and ultimately what most applicants provide when they do apply to jobs. So as Desiree said, the message today is actually going to be really uplifting, but I want to get real for a second so you know the context of Jobflow and also what you're potentially stepping into. Fewer than 1% of applicants to any job are ever contacted for an interview, and job search length of average unemployment can go on 4, 5, 6 months, right? The big reason, however, is that most people, not you, most people in the market believe landing a job is simply a numbers game that requires they apply to as many jobs as they can as quickly as possible. And so what they do is apply to every job using the same generic, actually pretty weak resume, right? And there's a disconnect between what the employer is looking for there. On the flip side, it's actually exact opposite what gets you hired. Employers overwhelmingly value candidates and hire candidates who tailor their resume and their cover letter to show that they care about the role, to take the time to connect their experience between what the employer is looking for according to the job posting description, and overall make it easy for the hiring team to really understand why you're a great fit for that role and how you're going to come in and help them succeed. And that concept is actually a lot more important now that technology is doing a lot of the initial parsing, scanning, filtering of applications, right? Looking for certain keywords, experiences before human hiring teams ever see them. So we built Jobflow to make sure you all, Local 3320 and friends and family, land within the 1% of applicants who are contacted to interview by making sure you're showing your absolute best on paper when you apply to jobs, and to give you the confidence that that's exactly what you're doing. You all overwhelmingly have actually incredible work history and experience. You have wonderful achievements that are going to be very valuable to private sector or other federal agencies when you're applying to jobs. We just have to show that on paper so that you stand out from the crowd. And that's exactly what Jobflow is about. The topic for today is optimizing your probably very lengthy federal resume to impress private hiring managers in seconds, right? So how does Jobflow work? We have an AI-powered platform that takes your current federal resume without you having to make any changes, without brushing it up before you onboard the platform. We take your current resume and we will optimize it for private sector employers. And then we will tailor that resume to every job you apply to, while also drafting a personalized cover letter to match with your application. We will also provide custom insights for every job you're showing that you want to apply to on your fit for that specific role. We will deliver ideal matching jobs to you daily to your dashboard, which I will show you, and will help organize your entire job search by saving records of the job postings of your tailored documents into a Kanban style sort of project management dashboard where you can track, monitor, measure everything. The goal is to help you all land more interviews, to save you hours in job applications, and ultimately shave months off your entire job search. So we get that what could be 4, 5, 6 month job search down to 2, 3, 4 months. Okay. If you come to the myjobflow.com website and click any of these get started call to action buttons, and the first step is simply to create an account. So you have to go to the sign up here. You can either enter your email address and create a password and sign up with your email. If you do that, this will kick out an automated email to that email address you provided here. And you have to click the verification link, come back here, and then sign on. Or you can use our single sign on.
Registering for the system, you must use your personal email address that you have registered with the union. That's the only way that you're able to have this service for free the first 30 days. So if you use some random email, it will not work. This is specifically for our members, but he will also provide a code if you're looking to provide it to someone else at a discounted rate. But for us as members to sign up for the system, you will have to use your member registered personal email. So just keep in mind.
Great call out. Thank you for that. So I'm going to pretend wbboggs@gmail.com is on the registered list. I click that from Google single sign-on, and now I'm onboarding with Jobflow. Okay. The first step I'm going to see before we get started, do either of these special cases apply to you? I'm a federal worker and need my resume optimized for the private sector, which is exactly the custom solution we built for you all here. So if that's you and you're transitioning to the private sector, or you want to apply to jobs in the private sector, you'll want to select this first and then continue to the next screen. We'll tailor your resume for each prospective job by enhancing your skills, your experience to match the hiring manager's wish list. To get started, you do need a PDF version of your current resume. So you either drag and drop that in here or choose the file from your computer. And I'm going to show you the one we're going to be using here as an example. This process will take probably a minute to 2 minutes, depending how long your current federal resume is. Okay. And I'll show you why and what we're doing while that works in the background. So what we're doing now, we built a custom process for this onboarding that will focus on condensing your lengthy federal resume into a much shorter document that preserves key details. And what we're doing here is optimizing the government specific elements that you probably have in your federal resume. In your case, it has GS pay grade information, salary details, hours worked. You'll have probably a number of different government specific acronyms and programs, federal acquisition terminologies. You'll probably have outlined a lot of government processes, especially if you've been in, the federal sector for 5, 10, 15 or more years. You're probably used to having a lot of bullet points that describe your daily activities and accountabilities. Take nothing away from you and your experience, but those are things we can edit out for what the private hiring manager is looking for. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. This is Jane Doe's resume. Starts off with some of the GS information, salary details. Don't need to remove any of this. That's what we're doing now. Fairly lengthy details, bullet points. In this case, if we scroll down, we see this is a fantastic federal resume that happens to be 12, 11, 12 pages in this case. We want to get this down, edit it down, probably to something that's 2, 3, 4 pages if we can, for the private sector, that really highlights all the most important details, number one, and then is tailored to exactly what the hiring manager is asking for that one specific job, which is going to be different from the second job you apply to, which is different from the third job you apply to, and so on. I took sort of a sidestep to show you exactly what the system's doing while it worked in the background, partially because it was going to take 1 to 2 minutes. While you're doing this, I just want you to be patient. No need to refresh the page. It's working. You'll actually see it working.
Well, I do want to
Okay.
insert, so you guys, what he's saying is, don't waste any time trying to bedazzle or make any changes to your current resume. I know I had to go find my resume and I hadn't touched it for maybe a year or two. So don't try to make any changes to it. Really just upload your most current resume. I mean, you may want to put, if your position has changed since the last time you updated your resume, you may want to quickly put, your updated and most current title, but don't spend a lot of time trying to make changes or add at all. Go ahead and just upload the most current resume that you have and let the system do the work for you.
And I'll show you. So the next step, in your case, you might skip this during onboarding. This is, again, tailoring the resume to a specific job. I don't imagine many of you will have a job opportunity in mind today that you want to apply to. Otherwise, just skip this and move to the next step. 95% of the people watching this video will click on that skip this step during
Okay.
onboarding. You will have to go through this step. This is important. Our system will find matching jobs for you daily and deliver the top 3 results to you via email, as well as to a dedicated area in the account, which I will show you. So we do want to find out from you the ideal jobs that you would be searching for. If you have specific titles in mind, and this is really just keyword based. So I'm going to say operation director, administration, maybe human resources. You don't have to get super technical, just in general. When we find matching jobs for you, like we're talking about here, yes, we will look for jobs that match everything about your profile. Right now, we're asking for your job preferences. If you have specific titles in mind, ideally that you'd like, if there's a specific city in mind that you want to stay in or search in, what is your ideal state? Obviously, it's probably US as a country. What's your desired work setting? Is that in-person, remote, any work setting, full-time, part-time, either? And then minimum salary. So these are the job preferences you're giving us. And to answer your question, Kimberly, we will take that into consideration. We will take all the details on the resume you onboarded with under consideration. So now you can just click go to dashboard, and now we are within the account we created. We're going to go through 5 simple steps that you have to click next through in order to start using the account. So I will take my time and go through these now to give you the lay of the land. Okay. So we're highlighting here the main dashboard tab and this area here. This is where you will show us jobs that you want to apply to in order to receive tailored resumes and cover letters specific to that job. Okay. So most of these things you'll see 2 or 3 times. I'm just going to give you the overview now. For now, we're just going to click next so we can keep going. When you show us jobs you want to apply to, your new tailored documents will be ready here in this tray, as well as in this job manager tab, which is probably where you'll spend most of your time. All your documents, all your tailored resumes, the jobs you're applying to will all be saved here in Job Manager. The most recent 3 that we're tailoring for you will be kept in this tray here on your dashboard homepage. Now, the jobs that we find, so we're talking so far about jobs you bring us that you want to apply. The jobs that we find you that match your skills, your experience, your job preferences that we just asked about will be delivered here in this curated job section, as well as in this curated jobs tab here. Okay. And then finally, you want to edit, you want to add content to your master resume, which is, and we'll go there now. So we're going to start in master resume because this is what I want you to do. Right now, the writing has not been changed in this. It has just been edited down from what I showed you. Remember, we came here and we saw 12 pages of Jane Doe's resume. We saw all this GS information. We didn't change any of it for onboarding. We kept all these bullet points, but we said, I'm a federal worker. I want to work in the private sector. Do the work for me. The initial condensing of that 12-page resume is now this length of a document. This is probably 3 pages, 4 pages. Okay. The writing has not been optimized, it hasn't been changed. This has not been tailored for a specific job. So you don't want to apply to a job using this version. But what we want to do is consider master resume the place that you keep notes, that you add additional achievements or details or accomplishments, which is what I want to spend a couple minutes on now, kind of coaching you through. Desiree actually had a great idea, so I might tag you in here. But what we want to encourage you to do, in light of updating anything before you join the platform, is come to Master Resume and refer back to your self-assessment achievements from is that your annual assessment, Desiree?
Yeah, and so when he talks about master resume, this is really just the base, like the backbone of what your tailored resumes for each separate job application will use to pull information. So this is not the one that has to be all pretty. This is really just the condensed version. It removes the federal gibberish, right? It removes all of your pay information and GS information and just kind of adapts it down to a condensed version. But you also want to add in like details. This is just where the information will be pulled from, the details will be pulled from. So this is really just like your note-taking resume. If you remember, like, oh, I have a certification, a core step 2, level 2, type it in anywhere as a bullet point and it will be drawn from for information. Also your self-assessments. I know a lot of people keep very detailed information. Like I led a team of 200 people where we were successful in closing a business development for $6.2 million in the Fort Worth area. That type of self-assessment can be copied and pasted. It doesn't have to be beautiful. Again, can be pasted at the bottom of your resume. Again, this is just a basic sounding board or backbone for your future tailored resumes. And again, Brad said there will be a tailored resume for every single application that you, every job that you apply for. So this is just where it's pulling the generic yet detailed information about you, your skills, your education, your certifications, any specific details that you want.
Exactly. This is your draft that we refer to when creating all tailored versions of your resume. So the goal once you get on the platform is to add additional achievements. You achieved X, which resulted in Y, or as measured by Y, by doing Z. Okay, so what did you accomplish? What was the result of what you accomplished, or how was it measured, and how did you do it exactly? So as Desiree said, that could be your role dealing with specific budget or dollar amounts, dollar figures. How much were they? What size? How many people did you directly manage? Did you help cut costs by a certain percentage? Did you help lead to specific achievements for the department or organization? How did you achieve those things exactly? Concrete details. That's what you want to add into your master resume here. And this is a fully functioning web editor. So if this is me, I might start this by saying, right, if I don't have this, I led a team of 500 people through a department reorganization leading to $500 million increase, right? Whatever it is. You probably have very specific things like that in your self-assessment. And those are going to be very key details to include here. So you include them once, and we refer to the details when creating all future tailored resumes that you never have to edit. That's the goal. And then you want to save that so that this draft is now stored in our system and we're referring to the best information when we go create a tailored resume. And now we are ready to tailor their master resume to a specific job that we want to apply to. Okay. So that's this area here. I want to tailor my resume. We'll add the job to your job manager and generate a tailored resume and cover letter. So tailor my resume. You've already seen this form once. This is the process I went through during onboarding. Let's say, all right, I'm ready to apply to this director of contract management position. Again, I want to copy the website URL wherever I happen to see a job. Maybe this is on Indeed, maybe this is on LinkedIn, it's on Monster or Career Builder. Maybe I have a very specific employer in mind and I got this from their career site, right? You go to their corporate website, you click on careers, and I see Director of Contract Management. Wherever you see the job details is exactly the URL that you copy and paste here. Okay, I'm just using Indeed as an example to show you this is another job site where you're finding these jobs. So this is the job title. We're going to copy and paste that. Certainly you could type it in if you remember. So that's the company name. And again, I want to copy the entire full job description that the employer says that they require and that you would have to meet to be a great candidate for this job. You paste the details in that field, click generate, and now you see this is being written. You'll see these things spinning. This right now, what we're doing is marrying up your master resume and the details we improved upon with everything from the job posting description and rewriting, tailoring your resume to this specific job. But I want to show you how you'll be using Job Manager probably most often. So all your time will be spent in one of these 4 tabs. Right now, we're going to go to Job Manager, and you see in the draft status, okay, here's the job that I'm tailoring my documents to now. And here's the one that I already showed you. This was a residential housing director position. This is the full job description that we saved. By the time you're contacted for an interview, this job might be removed from the internet. So now you have a place where you can see what was that job anyway that I applied to at Corvius, right? We will show you here. Here is what Corvius is looking for in this role. This is a drop-down menu. So sort of a Cliff's Notes version. So you don't have to decipher and unpack all the details that they wrote here. We'll provide that to you. Here are the required hard skills you'll need, the required soft skills. Here are the key words that they use throughout that seem really important, the key responsibilities, certifications, prior roles, education. So if you want to brush up on the highlights when they're called, this is one of the places you want to do that. Right now, you can, excuse me, you can access your tailored resume or your cover letter from here. So let's look at the resume that we wrote. And you see Jane Doe is an 85% match to this specific job based on what we were able to take from her master resume and now update and tailor for this job. We'll give you a breakdown of why this scoring. In this case, Jane Doe's extensive leadership experience at HUD and housing-related roles provides strong alignment with this residential housing operations director position. Your demonstrated skills in managing teams, overseeing financial operations, building stakeholder relationships match well with the key responsibilities. This would probably be closer to 95 or 100 if she had more direct property management experience that would create a perfect match. So again, if you don't have a perfect fit, I've actually never seen a perfect fit. There's always, right, some gaps. You don't have to be a perfect candidate. 65, 70, 85%, those are great scores. We just want to call out exactly what they're looking for. And if Jane Doe actually has direct property management experience, we probably want to add that in, save it, and then you know she's probably a stronger candidate. There's a drop-down menu here too. So we see how Jobflow tailored your resume for this position. But we give you the details on why we structured the summary the way we did based on what Corvius Group is looking for, emphasizing and keying in on Jane Doe's leadership of large teams, fostering teamwork. They talk about customer service excellence, right? We coach you through why we updated the bullet points in her work history or experience the way we did, based on what Corvius is looking for, again, exactly. And then the key skills that we keyed in on they're asking for. Again, the hard skills, the soft skills, all that we take into consideration. And that will all now be updated in this tailored version. So if you take the time to read through this, you'll see how the writing is now changed. It's a true reflection of Jane Doe. It's a true reflection of her experience at HUD and through her career. It's just enhanced, optimized, and tailored to match exactly what Corvius is looking for because she's a great fit. right? We just want to show why she's the perfect fit.
Within the first
Mhm.
couple times that you apply for a job, you'll see this little gray box at the top of each optimized resume, and it kind of gives you the key points of the background of this company, why, where we found information on your resume and had to make changes to highlight your connection or skills that match this job. So it's not like you guys are adding fake information to make us fit these jobs. You are just bringing forward or highlighting what's necessary on the resume that would bring more attention to me from this job, so this potential job. Is that correct?
That's exactly correct. Yes.
Okay.
This is the tailored version for this residential housing operations director job. Let's say I don't particularly like the style here. You click the resume styling button and you have a couple different options. And when I click these, you see how it changes the information. Maybe I want to add a little bit of color, a little bit of flair, if you like that, or you like classic style. And you can save that as default, meaning now all future versions of my Taylor resume will be saved in this default style. Okay. You close that. And now let's say I'm ready to go apply to this job. You want to download this resume in a PDF format. So you'll see it looks like sort of a print feature, if you will. Here you can see exactly the number of pages it's going to come up as. Um, I want to encourage you to check the settings here and make sure this headers and footers is unchecked. When it's checked, you'll see a little line of code here. You don't want that to show. So just make sure that's toggled off. And once you do it once, it's by default saved for you. Okay. But from here, I want to save as PDF, which is default. And now if you click apply, it's going to take you back to where you apply to that job. In this case, I pulled the job from Indeed, so it'll bring me back here where I actually go and apply. Okay. But for now, I'm going to go back first to show you the cover letter before we go apply to this job. You can use the back button here, or if you ever get lost, again, go back to Job Manager as your root menu. And this is the job we were looking at. So now let's look at the cover letter. Again, you've already seen this. This is the job description and the coaching. This is where we access the resume. Let's go look at the cover letter we created. By default, you get a cover letter that's personalized, tailored to that specific job for every job. So you see, I'm writing to express my interest in the residential housing operations director at Corvius Group. Jane Doe talks about her career trajectory, how it's prepared her for this role, what she's done at HUD, leading to where she is today. In this case, she managed the coordination support services across the region, supervised 138 employees, right? Very specific things to Jane Doe, and a true reflection of who she is in light of what Corvius Group is asking for. She's demonstrated success building, maintaining strategic stakeholder relationships. I believe my experience would bring immediate value to Corvius Group. I welcome the opportunity to contribute to your mission of, oftentimes it pulls out exactly what that mission is, right? Like if the employer's won, we've been named Employer of the Year 5 years in a row for customer service excellence. You'll see those types of details written about in these cover letters. And again, you don't have to do any of the writing here. Make sure you're comfortable with it. If you want to change anything, this is an editor, but 99% of the work should be done for you here.
So what you're saying is this cover letter and as well as the summary, other than the details in the resume, are pulling in details that the specific company is looking for. So if it's Google, they're saying we're looking for someone who is highly skilled at coding and prompting AI. Well, in my cover letter, it's going to say, "Hey, Google, I'm really excited about working with you. Here's where I've worked in coding AI, and I think I'll be a great player for your new AI dynamic team," which is something they put in, either their job description or the company has in their, electronic database or whatever. But this is
Mhm.
research or in history on or homework on this company that you won't have to do because it's already built into your cover letter or into the summary and or pulled from your resume to present to this job. So it shows that you took some time to do some homework. But what I also like about, and I'm sorry, it's only because I've been looking at this for a couple weeks now, but Brad, what I like is that you put it together in a folder. If Google calls me back for an interview, I don't have to worry about going and looking in my old files to see what job application I sent to them, what the job application details were about, which
Right.
resume I used. It's still all here. It shows me the application title, what the description was. It gives me the coaching, and I like it. I would prefer we call it coaching, but that little square right there in the middle with the circle, that's your coaching box. That tells you what skills they're looking for, what skills you have that match their asks, right? So you
Hmm.
have your resume, you have your cover letter, you have information coaching in the middle, and then you have the job description, past details there at the bottom. So it keeps it and archives it for you if and when they call you back. If it's a week from now or 2 months from now, you still have access
Hmm.
to the entire package of that job application. That
Correct.
that was
Yeah,
the winning
indefinitely.
for me. Mhm.
Which is really important, right? Because if you've been in the market for a while, you might have a dozen of these drafts here, right? Some people have 50 or 100. And when Google calls you back, you want to be able to go to the job card that's for Google. Okay, here's what they're looking for. Here's my resume. Here's my cover letter that I applied with. We saw where I get my resume for this job. We saw where I get my cover letter, both of which we downloaded. Now I can go back and I can either apply through this button here. This is the same button you'll see apply on the resume version. So you'll see this takes me to, again, I copied that job from Indeed. So that's where it's going to take me to actually go on and apply to the job. When I do so, now, again, this is the project management board to manage everything. So we tailored our resume, we got our cover letter, I downloaded both, and I went on and applied right now. I'm going to move this to the applied column so I can keep track of it. Or again, this is what now we keep seeing in the other draft status. We haven't done anything with this one yet. So let's take a look at how this one is different from what we just saw. Again, the job description is saved. Coaching for the role, I like that too, Desiree. I took note of that. So they're looking for something completely different from the job I just applied to. I'm probably qualified for this role as well, but it's a completely different direction. So let's see what they're looking for. Operations, contracts, program manager, supervisor, those will all be qualified. Interesting. So let's see how the tailored resume looks. This one's also an 85% match. My extensive experience in government operations, contract management, and leadership aligns strongly with what they're looking for in the contract management director role. My demonstrated skills in managing teams, implementing process improvements, ensuring compliance with government regulations make me a compelling candidate, though I might benefit from highlighting any experience with clean energy initiatives. Interesting. So that's something they talked about in the job description. I don't think my master resume talks about that at all. Maybe I don't have that experience. It probably doesn't really matter in this case. If I have it, great, add it in. If I don't, this is
But
a great match,
But
right?
Brad, it makes sense to look at that job match and read the job match summary because you're telling yourself like, okay, this is why I connected with this job. But then it might remind you like, wait a minute, I do have a little bit of energy initiative. I've worked on the clean bill
Hmm.
program, or if I worked in multifamily, we did the energy efficient LIHTC programs and things like that. Add that back. Remember to add that back to your master resume, even if it's not
Yeah.
it could just be a messy bullet point at the bottom. You want to, as you go through this process, it'll remind you what skills you have that you've failed to include on that master resume, for either this job or jobs in the future. You know what I mean? And so if this person would have had that energy listed experience, maybe that percentage would be closer to a 90-95
Right.
of a job match.
Exactly right.
Mhm.
Yep. So if you want to add in details like that, yes, you have that. You can demonstrate it, and you're going to be applying to other jobs that might require something in clean energy. Go back to master resume, add that in here. I led this clean energy initiative that resulted in Y. I accomplished it by Z. I'm going to save that. And now we're going to go back to exactly what we saw before. But that was a great call out, right? I have the experience. I didn't talk about it. I forgot I had that as part of my HUD leadership experience. But they're looking for it, so let's highlight it. let's see what else we matched up well with. So here's how Jobflow tailored this particular resume. We wrote the summary a specific way, incorporating key terminology that they're asking for. Key experiences changed and why, what we keyed on. This one's a lot more about compliance. There is some supplier diversity, government procurement, and key skills. This is now, if you read through this one is very different from the last resume we saw. Again, they're both Jane Doe.
Hey,
They're
and
both
Brad,
true to
I
her
think I
experience.
think it's important that people understand this experience. Jobflow is telling you what we changed in your resume, not what we, no false information, but what did we include in this resume for this job application so that when this employer calls you back, you know exactly what to talk about in terms of this tailored resume. So that when he goes back up to experience, the coaching part is telling you, hey, let us tell you what we changed in your resume, what we included and what we didn't include. That's important
Mhm.
because you don't want to be talking about your master resume to a job that maybe some of the skills or techniques were not included. So it's a good, quick way to just be refreshed. Google's calling me today. This is the resume that they're referencing, and this is the resume that Jobflow put together for me for this particular application. So I would say I think the
Yep.
coaching section is really key.
We took something that's 12 pages, that's a true reflection of your entire career. But for this one contract management job, I only have to talk about a very small percentage likely of my career. That's what you want to lead with and key in on. So Jane Doe is now classified as a senior contract management and procurement executive because she has that experience. But we want to lead with that because if I'm a hiring manager for this specific role, I'm putting people in a short list who seem like they've done this work and then excluding people who haven't done this work. So we want to lead with what's going to sell you best for that position, and we do all the work for you. Again, so the coaching is really important. I can download that resume. I can go and apply. Let me show you what we're talking about as far as how the cover letter is now written. In this case, it leads a lot with my contract management, my procurement experience, how that's going to help New York's transition to clean energy, right? So these are things that I would coach you to, if you didn't have Jobflow, you're trying to do this manually, you'd go research New York's clean energy program and try to write all that. We did all that for you, right? It took 30 seconds to generate this new resume and this new cover letter. And I'm just showing you how we wrote this for you and why.
I've just started with this program. And he can show you some examples where people have the draft box completely full and applied box and interviewed box with the stars and stuff. It's a good way to track every single application. But another a great part of this program, and again, I'm not getting any type of commission or sales or anything. I just think it's a great resource to give to folks. But the fact that they're sending you 3 strong matches a day, if you're a lazy, I'm not a lazy job applier. I just don't want to do it. I'm devastated and
I
disappointed
would do
with
that.
what we're going through. So it
Yeah.
makes me sad to go have to look for a job. So for it to be delivered to your email box, 3 strong matching jobs, at least that'll give you something to feel productive about. I applied for 3 jobs. I'm being proactive just in case we're caught in the riff. And they're strong matching jobs, and it's easy to do straight from this job manager. I'm going to give just a personal testimony. I applied for, I think I revised my resume with Jobflow. Within 2 to 3 days later, I just tried it, applied for 2 positions. By the end of the week, I was contacted. I don't think I would have had that traction if I would not have had the revised resume. It literally took me 10 minutes, 5 minutes to log into Jobflow, revise and optimize my resume, and then go do the application. So I was really impressed, and it gave me a little bit of encouragement, like, you know what, there is a chapter after this. If something happens to my HUD career, there are people who are interested in me and I'm still valid and important. So that was really exciting to hear from someone so quickly after. I mean, I don't have a job yet. I don't plan on going anywhere, but if we have to do the steps, let's let the computer help us save time, right? Because we still have to do our HUD jobs. But anyway, I just wanted to put that in before people may have had to drop from the line.
Yeah, that's a great testimonial. Thank you for doing that. And I know what I'm going to show you now is the curated jobs section. You will start to see curated jobs. These are the ones that our AI goes out and finds you across the internet that match your digital profile basically that we created. And these match your tailored resumes, the master resume, the job preferences we asked about, if you remember. We find those and we deliver those to you here and here. You'll start to see results your second day on the platform. The first day, we start consuming all your information, understanding your job preferences, what types of jobs you're applying to, and give us a day to start delivering these. They'll be here as well as within curated jobs. For the sake of showing you something, I'll log into another account I have. And we click on curated jobs. And these are the versions that he's been delivered daily that he's a great match for. Okay, so senior software manager, senior software engineer mobile, senior software engineer, AI, so on and so forth. Click on any of these. This is your own personalized, curated job board, job search experience.
But when you say curated, this is where if you do nothing and you don't, copy and paste the URL or go out and search for jobs, eventually you will have a list of jobs in this curated section because Jobflow is going to send them to you, right? So eventually this curated job will populate itself. And you could literally like just click on these access tailored documents and apply. Did I get that correct?
That is correct. Yep. So me as a user, I have done nothing now to get these jobs. I sat back. These were populated to me daily. These are new jobs from the last 24 hours. The Jobflow found me because they matched the jobs I'm looking for and they matched my profile. So I want to look at this and you know what? This looks interesting. I'm going to click access my tailored documents and you'll see here's the job description. Here's my coaching. Again, this one's all about AI, machine learning, etc. Here's my tailored resume, my match. I can download, I can go and apply. Let's look at another one. Senior software engineer at a company called Neon in San Francisco. Okay, this one looks great too. I'm going to access my tailored documents that were written for me. Here's that tailored resume, completely different from the other ones. I can download that and go to apply to that job. So yes, if you do nothing else, we will deliver matching jobs to you. We will write and update your application materials and send you on your way to apply. So you didn't have to do any of the searching. You didn't have to do any of the research, writing, tailoring that will get you a foot in the door to interview. You just take the documents we give you and go on and apply, essentially.
And I just want to let people know how easy it is because we don't have a lot of time. We are still working in our government positions. I'm not saying be a lazy job seeker, but because we are still inundated with work, right? And we don't want to when we're at work, we're focused on our government our functions, but then we're exhausted at the end of the day and you might not necessarily want to spend your whole weekend looking for jobs. So if you absolutely do nothing other than sign up for Jobflow, insert your original 12, 13-page resume, it will collect and match you with jobs that when you do have some free time, apply. It's been really easy for me just the few days that I've had access to it. And again, I was pretty excited to get a call back from the second person company organization I applied for. So I wanted people to hear that part. I think it's important.
So next steps, get started at myjobflow.com. You saw, click any of the get started buttons. No code required. We'll provide you 30-day free access by way of what AFGE Local 3320 already purchased for you. If you go to myjobflow.com/blog, the first or second article has documented onboarding steps. It is actually, you'll probably be on board in like 2 minutes if you do this on your own, but that's available to you to refer to anytime you get stuck. We also send you your first 7 days on the platform. The first day, you will receive one email that highlights all the main features of the platform and account. From there, you receive one daily email from me that gives you a tip and a best practice. And generally, it's today's what is Job Manager and how do I use it? How do I use Master Resume? Is that the one I apply to? What do I do with that? This support button within your account, this is live chat. Hello, I need help. This comes to me and to my team. So if you get stuck, if you see something odd, if you're like, remind me, do I apply with Master Resume or where do I add this? Send us a note anytime in support, 24 hours a day. If we don't answer right away, we also get an email with the information and we will reply to you. So It's not like you onboard and you're left alone. We are here to support you in this career transition, possibly in your job search. If you find Jobflow to be useful, comment about your experience on social media. Tag us there if you would, please. Share our site link with someone else you think we can help, whether they're a federal employee or not. This is for any job type. The onboarding stage just changes a little bit based on how you answer the questions. And then we created a friends and family coupon for you that will provide a 15% discount to you or to your friend or family who subscribed with the platform when this coupon is used. Jobflow now, all caps, right? So you have a few friends who are in the market. If you give them the code and they join for 30 days, they'll receive a 15% discount. And you simply enter that coupon code in the store after you onboard anytime during your 7-day free trial. You probably, that would be done here. So at the top here, you see I'm on a 7-day free trial. If I click to upgrade my access, there's only two options: monthly subscription. I would click that. I would enter the coupon code, and thank you so much for helping us get the word out. If you find this useful, reach me anytime. You can reach me, Brad, at myjobflow.com. You can find us on social media, find us in the support chat in your account. I know we're cascading some information to you via email with tips, tricks, best practices. You'll have this recorded video. I hope we're able to break it down for you, and I hope you find it to be successful.